Their basement. Uh-oh. Oh, you can't hear me. Oh, yeah. The bathroom. That's where I draw boobs for you.
You take showers in the basement.
Yeah, because over the winter, this was the warmest water was down here. And now I just have a bunch of stuff of mine. Can I reach the sink? Come with me and you'll be inside our downstairs bathroom.
Where I draw boobs on steamed pieces of glass.
If you want to know different boobs, I will go ahead and draw them.
If you want to unbuckle your pants and get ready for a gasm.
Ding dong dong.
Come CUM with me.
Here's a towel to dry off all the semen.
When you're done wiping the semen, you can eat the towel because it is made of candy like everything else in this world. You just have to spew it. So childish.
You have to eat the towel.
Well, it's made of candy, so you can.
I know.
Like the teacup. He eats the teacup.
I loved that so much. What was that teacup made out of, I think?
Wax.
No.
Yeah, it was. He didn't actually eat it.
It could have been chocolate.
No, it was made of wax. He took a bite and...
No, it's not wax.
That was it. They cut away. He spits it out.
What a magical part of that movie. When she's eating the cream out of the mushroom.
I told you that whole set smelled because the chocolate river rotted.
It couldn't have rotted. It's not like it's real chocolate.
I think they used some kind of dairy in it.
No, why would they do that? Why wouldn't it just be water?
25 fun facts about Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory from Geek Tyrant.
And you have to hit next page after every fact.
With fake next page buttons.
Yeah, and you accidentally hit those.
So you hit the wrong one. Those are the worst, but people fall for them all the time because if you really are interested in that content, whatever it is, if you just do a search on what it's about, you can find a better article.
Yeah.
The chocolate river was actually made of real chocolate, water, and cream. It spoiled fairly quickly and left a terrible smell.
You're right. That's folklore.
It's not folklore. It's real.
Folklore.
Wilder said he would make the film under one condition. He wanted to do the somersault.
Oh, that's right, in the beginning?
Yeah, where he comes out limping and then he does the somersault.
What a weird request. They were like, yeah.
Well, he said that having Willy Wonka start out limping and end up somersaulting would set the tone for the character. He wanted to portray him as someone whose actions were completely unpredictable.
Kind of a liar.
The Wonkatania boat was on a track in the Chocolate River, but the actor playing the Oompa Loompa at the helm thought he was really steering it for the sake of believability. So they lied to him and told him he was steering it. Who cares?
Oh, man. But have you ever really looked at him? Wow, what a performance. I've always said that.
Yeah, because if he knew that it was on a track, his steering would have just been all over the place. Like a kid who's pretending to drive and the steering wheel just goes left to right, left to right.
Welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ, and Autumn, before you move forward, I'm saying that I just want to make this perfectly clear. This week's topic is Autumn's choice. It's her choice because if people see this, they're going to think, oh, it's got to be the guy's choice. Not my choice. Autumn's choice.
All right, my choice.
Sorry about that neurotic disclaimer.
No, I get it, because the choice this week the topic I wanted to talk about is breasts.
I mean, that's very nice.
How about knockers?
Or maybe bosom.
Ooh, chesticles.
That one's disgusting.
I know, it's the worst one.
And people then have a play on that. Breasticles.
Ugh. Fun bags.
Floppers.
Ooh. Tits.
I'm surprised it took so long for that one to come out. Flapjacks.
We didn't even say boobs.
Well, Yeah, I think that's too obvious. You say
Yeah.
boobies.
Boobies, titties.
You ever come across men who still say boobies?
No.
Good.
Do you?
No. No, not that I can think of.
I saw her boobies.
Cuddle nugs.
Is that real?
Dirty pillows.
Oh, that's right. Did I say fun bags?
Milk jugs.
Lady lumps.
What is the one play on big old...
Oh, tiggle bitties.
Ugh. Why?
Tiggle bitties.
Yeah. And then starts firing a shotgun. That's what I... All right, so there you go. There's a rundown of different names for breasts.
I feel like tits is the most sexual one.
Why so?
I feel like if you're trying to be sexy or something, you're never going to be like, oh, my boobs. Oh, my
No,
breasts.
yeah, boobs is too cartoonish.
Right.
Breasts, I guess, is too clinical.
Yes.
Even though yeah. So, and I think if someone was having a mature conversation, they would use the term breasts.
Yeah. I go between boobs and breasts. Like boob is the what I usually use. If I were in a doctor's office, I probably would still say boob, but maybe if I was writing it to someone, I might say breast, but
I feel like that's become the most mainstream term, boobs. But
Boobs.
do you ever sit there and think about it and how goofy it really is?
yeah, it is a real silly, the double O's, the two B's.
It's
Not a
cartoonish.
sophisticated word.
No, not at all. But it's become the mainstream term. For, like you said, you go to the doctor and you say, my boobs hurt.
Yeah, I still might say breast. I don't know. It just depends on who I'm looking at. Like if the doctor seems real stiff, I might call them breasts. But if it seem like I might get along with this doctor and outside of the office, I might call them boobs.
Yeah,
so the more comfortable I feel, I'm going to say boobs.
So I'm the doctor coming in. Good day, Ms. Fisher. Tell me what's going on with you.
I don't know. I just have like this pain on my right breast. See, okay, so I say breast in this situation.
Well, let's take a look. Take off your shirt.
Oh,
That's
is there
it.
supposed to be like another nurse in here or something?
That's the end of the role play there.
Okay.
By the way, I always feel like I know doctors are supposed to be professionals and they go in and this becomes a medical thing for them and it's not a big deal, but there has to be a doctor, a male doctor, and there's a woman that he finds attractive and then there's something going on with her breasts and he says something like that and somewhere in his brain, don't give me this crap that he's able to compartmentalize.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how that works because I don't think that I would ever be in a situation where there would be something that I find so sexual in other times and so clinical in other times.
Unless it was oozing some kind of pus.
Well, of course. Then
something.
you're just trying to fix the problem.
Had scales on it.
Yeah. I'm not saying I have a scaly right breast. I just have like something hard. I don't know, something weird here, okay? But now listen, if I was going to call you, Greg, and complain about something, I'd say, yeah, my right boob hurts. There's something in my right boob. I would never be like, my right breast is painful.
Maybe you're trying to put on a show for the doctor to seem a little more sophisticated.
It's just the setting. I would never go to my gynecologist and be like, my pussy is itchy.
But that's not the standard word for it.
Well, neither is...
Now, boob has become, as we've already established, the word. I
Right.
get what you're saying, and I can understand this. There's no need for me to argue against it because I don't even believe that I'm right. I don't think there's a right or a wrong. There's just a curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a clinical setting, so I think
It's
you
just,
adjust
yeah,
your
and
behavior.
it's just like if you were, I don't know, in school or something, not, like in college, you wouldn't talk about, I don't know, if you're writing a paper or something, you wouldn't write boob, you'd write breast. It's just the setting you're in.
Yeah, hey, doc, my ween's
Yeah.
oozing.
Yeah, come take a look at my junk.
My dick's, I wanted to say bleeding.
I got blood coming out of my pee hole.
I don't think I would be so casual if there was blood. That's why I paused there. I think there'd be more panic.
Right.
Just, hey, doc, got something going on with my wiener. It's bleeding.
Yeah. I got a bleeding piss hole, doc.
What do you think it is?
Let me whip it out here. Boom.
Yeah. Hey,
All right, anyway.
Hey, Doc, on my way in, I saw that receptionist you got, and she's got some tickle bitties.
Yeah, she does. Up top. So,
What if he high-fived you at that point? The doctor, I think.
hell yeah, then.
Yeah, for that guy, it'd be a hell yeah. For anyone
Hell
else, it'd be
yeah.
getting out of here. That doctor's not someone I want to be around. Okay, continue on.
So what I mean is I don't find anything that sexual that in other times I would feel so aroused by something, and then in different times I would find it so clinical. So it's weird to be a man and be looking at women's breasts, because like a female doctor isn't like looking at some GP isn't looking at some guy's penis because he's worried about an STD, and she's like, oh yeah, that dick. No one. She's like, okay, I have to look at a penis.
It works a little differently, though, right?
Yeah.
It's on the same. It's on par with that. I'm gonna send you a dick pic because you're gonna like this, and
Right.
most women. I figure there's two reactions. There's a giggle, or there's a moment of disgust, and either way, they're showing their friends, and then they're
Oh, yeah.
laughing at it together.
Yeah. The real thing you do, if you send a dick pic and the person wants to see the dick pic, it's not because of your dick. It's the meaning behind it. It's that like he wanted to show me it because he wants to have sex with me. It's not like, yeah, the dick. Because a dude, when you send him the boobs, it's like, yeah, boobs, yes.
Yeah, it's nothing.
It's not like, oh, she cares or she wants me or she wants to have.
Well, I will say there can be more. There's the possibility for more to it in the same manner as, wow, she's into this and we're doing this thing, we're sexting.
Right.
But the baseline is certainly, wow, boobs.
Right.
Look at this. This is amazing. I'm going to keep these forever.
See, now that's one of my questions I want to start with is.
Well, let me just ask why we're talking about this in the first place. Because is there a specific reason? There's been a lot of nipple talk going on back and forth. You got this, like when we text or talk, that's been coming up quite a bit. You got that T-shirt that's got all the different boobs on it. Seems to be a phase you're in.
I guess so, yeah. I don't know why that's happening.
I also would like to state that the nipple talk is not sexual. It's mostly,
No, it is not. It's mostly about your nipples.
and how they're the size of a dime.
They're very small.
Well, we're talking about the areola at that point too.
Oh,
They're-
right. So when we talk, yeah, we're talking about.
This is going to be interchangeable. We're not going to stick. Yes, the nipple is the actual part where the baby.
The center.
Yes, and then.
With the glands and everything.
So we don't really know medically, so we're just going to throw these terms around like a normal person would.
Sure.
So if you want to get all high and mighty about that, go ahead. We understand that we're not doing it completely
We
correctly.
know that you're right, but we're also using the umbrella term of nipples to include the nipple and the areola.
Yeah, mine are the size of a dime. Before the show, I wanted to, so I put a penny up to them.
Yeah.
And the penny was a little too big.
Wow.
They're very small.
Wow.
They're very.
They are small.
Maybe I'll take some pictures and post them.
I hope so.
No, I don't think that's going to happen. I know.
Mine are. I mean, they're not huge.
Yeah. Keep going.
They're not small.
Now you're really opening the door. Now people are going to start posting the comments. Come on, you post a picture.
Want to see them tickle bitties?
Oh.
Okay, so I wanted to ask about why it's.
Well, you moved away. You were about
what
to give
did
us a
you
very
say?
detailed description.
I don't know how big they are.
That's
They're
fine.
Big.
Okay, we don't need to talk about
The
it.
whole thing. Well, first of all, I'm a woman, and so my nipples tend to be bigger, and I've had kids, and I've breastfed them, so I feel
So
like
now they're all out of shape, is what you're saying.
no, they're not out of shape.
They're just,
They're not like hanging, dangling.
it's like twisted metal after a tornado. That's what's happened.
You know when the there's like a magician or something, and he puts something poisonous in a teacup, and the person stirs the teacup with that spoon, and then he brings out the spoon, and it's all like eroded and acid and it's all worn away. That's what my nipples look like.
Yeah, that's very sexy.
I know.
It's not sexy to begin with if you really think about what they are. We can get into some kind of clinical description.
Well, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, I want to talk about the sexualization of breasts in general, because
you're constantly having yours remarked on.
More like
It happens. I see it quite just if you just wear a shirt. And when we're doing the other radio show, there's not one day that goes by where someone can't make a comment about it.
I know, and I'm not wearing anything like low cut. It's just my chest, my top of my chest is showing.
So this is something that you deal with.
Yeah, but that's fine. I know. I understand. When I was growing up and my boobs were coming in, I thought that they were very sexy. I was very into them. I was like, yeah, boobs. Oh, my boobs. I liked them. But as I've gotten older, I guess I've just gotten used to them in one way. And then the other thing about having kids and then breastfeeding them, it really takes something, the sexy part out of your brain a little bit. They're so useful.
You want me to take this? You want me to take the sexy part out of your brain?
Sure.
Subcutaneous fat covers and envelops a network of ducts that converge on the nipple, and these tissues give the breast its size and shape. At the ends of the ducts are lobules, or clusters of alveoli, where milk is produced and stored in response to hormonal signals. Mm-hmm. During pregnancy, the breast responds to a complex interaction of hormones, including estrogens, progesterone, and prolactin, that mediate the completion of its development, namely lobulo-alveolar maturation, in preparation of lactation and breastfeeding.
Right.
Take off that shirt.
Yeah, I want to see those fun bags.
Motorboat them and squeeze them and make a honking noise.
Well, see, that's the thing. So women get implants for them to be nice and big, and after we have kids, or if we've lost weight, or as we age, they head south, just like everything does on your body, and people find them less and less attractive. And just the fact that they're a symbol of sexuality, if you really stop and think about it, is kind of weird, because my first thought is in Europe, when they have, breasts are kids and everyone see more breasts in their daily lives. I think it's in the newspapers. I think it's in commercials sometimes. It's on TV. They're less sexualized, but I still think that they find them sexy, right? Like, I think there's still women pushing them up in dresses to make them look nice and round and bouncy. And then they're still like enjoying them sexually, but then they're just not as taboo about having their breasts exposed.
Well, this falls into similarly drinking. You introduce drinking responsibly in Europe. This happens quite often. Doesn't mean binge drinking doesn't happen, but hopefully a higher percentage of people at that point aren't going ape shit once they're in college and getting booze and have access to it. And it's the same thing, especially here in the United States, in that breasts are highly sexualized but taboo and off limits in a manner that it's not quite, maybe it is unhealthy the way it's presented, because it puts the significance to them that men come up with stupid sayings and phrases for them. Ultimately, right. That's what leads. Because if it's just something that was normal, I don't think we'd still be an attraction. And I know you want to get to where does that attraction even come from, because one of the things I saw this study when I was looking into this, preparing for this show, and there was a study that took a look at 191 cultures. Now, I don't know exactly what the cultures were, not countries, but cultures. Mm-hmm. And out of 191 cultures, only 13 put importance on breasts as sexual objects. And then of those 13, 9 said big ones were preferable. So it's a very low percentage overall. And yes, where does that come from? Right,
because in some of, I'm sure in those, 100%. Oh my God. Someone made fun of me online for saying 100% a lot.
So now it's in your head.
I know I say it. Sorry. Okay. So I know.
No. Sidetrack it. Don't apologize for this. Don't give that person that much power. Don't ever give a person that much power over you because they made a comment. Right. Well, even if it's right, you don't apologize for it. Oh, I'm sorry because
I'm not creative or interesting to keep saying the same thing over and over.
Catering the show to you only, and I've let you down.
No, but I agree with the person.
All right, that's fine, but don't apologize. That's all I'm saying. You can agree.
I'll do better.
I'm sure. I realized when we first started doing this, anytime you'd say something, I'd follow up with yes. and then I would move in, or I say I think too often, and it may still happen quite a bit, but we're all becoming aware of things that we do as we try to better this show and better ourselves as host of the show. But don't apologize.
All right, mark it. We'll cut that out.
I'm leaving. No, that's staying in. This is live to tape.
Okay.
These kind of things are going to stay in. So anyway,
right.
did I throw you off? Do you even remember what you were going to say?
Yes, that the other cultures that did not place importance on breasts, whether big or small, those mothers also breastfeed. Because one of the things I thought about was, well, we sexualize them because we're all breastfed, and so we want the boob.
But unless it's instinct, which there is an instinct that goes along with it, I was not breastfed, and I'm hesitant to say that because I know these days, people would like to throw my mom in jail for giving us formula rather than breastfeeding us. Oh my God, the worst mom ever. Lock her up, throw away the key, let her suffer in isolation. Anyway, that aside. So there is the instinctual part of it, but I was never breastfed, and there's still an appeal. So there was not something that was built in my brain as a young child as the connection to the breast.
The instinct to breastfeed was there even if you were never breastfed.
Yes.
And so the draw to the breast, I thought, would be part of it. But then if you think about other cultures, they're not interested in the breast.
And there's a debate. No one knows the answer to this.
Yeah.
There's a debate that goes on. It's in line with the nature versus nurture thing. Are we born with a sexual attraction to a breast? And here's the thing with the breastfeeding. Then that means women should also be sexually attracted to breasts.
We are.
You are. You're drawn to them.
Sure.
In a way like a man is.
No.
So explain.
Not the same.
So what's the draw on your end as a lady?
Well, they're sexualized in the culture, and so that's there. And then, aesthetically, things look nice. A woman's body is way more attractive than a man's body, typically. Not to say that there are no men's bodies that are attractive, but...
No, there's a reason they make sports cars with curves rather than, the cheap cars of the 80s were boxy cars. They were these ugly things that the people drove because they didn't have the money to buy something that looked better.
Yeah.
So just to the eye, curves are much more appealing than a box figure, than sharp angles.
Well, and like I said, when I was growing up, and it's changed for me because I guess just being, just growing up and maturing, and boobs are not as important to me. But I don't know, even if you're looking at porn or something, you might look for something. I mean, I'm not looking up like big boobs. It's not like that. But when you're looking through the list of things to choose from, I might not choose something because someone's boobs are weird. So I just
don't know if it's the same pull.
No, I don't think it is.
And if it were tied strictly to breastfeeding, there should be. I get it. This, as humans mature, the different chemicals come into play, and maybe that would trigger something, so it's not as appealing to a woman. But there's the idea that big full breasts represent fertility.
Oh, fertility.
Or the ability to, there's a healthiness to that woman.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. How much do I buy into that too? Because really, men don't need to be so picky. The idea in nature, quite often what you see is the male, the peacock or these birds or whatever. The male's the one showing off because the woman has to choose the male that's fitting. Sperm is cheap, is what they say. There's a lot of sperm. Compared to eggs, sperm is cheap, so guys don't need to be so picky about it. They're like, well, whatever. I'll just... So that idea is like, these ample breasts let me know that this woman's going to be able to have my child and feed it properly. It just... It doesn't play the same way.
It doesn't. I wonder why it's different for us. Is it because of the male patriarchy?
It could be. There's this idea. So with primates, for example, just in general, mammals are the ones who have mammary glands. And primates closest to us as animals, none of them really have face-to-face sex.
Right.
I think gorillas did at one point, and scientists lost their shit. They saw this happen, and this doesn't happen. So there's an idea that they became sexual because of the fact that humans are really the only mammals that consistently and probably the most basic position have face-to-face sex.
Interesting. And then there's that whole like looking into each other's eyes, all that stuff.
I just see shame when I do that. Like, I don't see shame in the other person's eyes, but it makes me feel shame. I was like, oh, she's looking at me and she can see into my soul.
Do you tell her not to look at you?
Don't look.
Don't look at me.
Don't look at the emptiness. Then you'll know that I just want this to be over.
So then you have to be weird and you're like, slap me. I don't know what to do.
Oh, this is so fun. I mean, feels good. It's not that bad. There's certainly times that I've gotten into it. Okay. Just eye contact. It has to be a very specific person.
And then she's real creeped out.
If it's a person
staring at me.
Now you're not breaking eye contact. I'm just trying to prove to you that I'm capable of emotional intimacy and closeness and vulnerability.
Okay, but you can also blink.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're done with this face-to-face stuff.
All right. Turn me over.
Let's go back. Yeah. This doesn't happen often.
Can I be in the next room?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
What do I care? Can I
Are
go
you done? Okay, me too.
Oh yeah. I finished as soon as you walked out, but I didn't want you to know.
Yeah.
I was embarrassed, so I just
All
pretended.
right.
Just pretended.
You want anything from the kitchen?
No, I'm going to bed.
All right, I'll be in soon.
Yeah, take your time.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom.
I'm gonna escape this shame.
Will you go to sleep before me so I don't have to talk to you when I come back in there?
Yeah, I'll be talking in my sleep, though. You'll be saying things like, "You stupid piece of shit, you loser son of a bitch."
Yeah, okay.
I can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, he's just doing that thing where he's talking in his sleep again. You know,
It's on Netflix.
referencing how much he hates himself. It's normal.
Oh yeah, that's the norm.
Don't worry about that.
I find that helps me go to sleep now. Now I can't sleep without him talking down to himself in his sleep. Soothing.
So, in primates, I want to say that nipple play, though, in bonobos,
Oh, those sexy bonobos.
when they're masturbating, has been recorded. Not during sex, but when they're masturbating, they will rub their own nips.
Those bonobos are the sexiest of apes.
Yeah? That's your
fuck.
favorite? That's
They
your
fuck. Do you know they have like group sex? They masturbate while other people have sex.
Great. Good for them.
It's crazy, those bonobos. They like to party.
They're closely related, so that shows you.
Yeah.
Given any kind of, or take any structure we have, societal structure and means of acting properly, this is exactly what would be happening with us. We like to think we're these smarter, more aware beings, but if you just let it go, everyone would resort back to the most baseline, animalistic. Ooh, my nipple, my little dime-sized nipple.
My time-sized nipple.
They're very strange, by the way. When I was looking at them, they're just there, and it's normal because everyone's got them. And I was looking, it's strange that these two things are just on my chest, and I never actually think about them more than this. This is the most time I've ever spent thinking about my nipples because they serve zero function. I know that men can be aroused through their
little nipple play.
Not mine. They don't really seem to be sensitive. There's not much going on. And then there's that rash I have on my chest, so that usually distracts my attention anyway.
Sure. Yeah, some people have. No, that makes sense.
I know. Sure. There's a rash. Maybe other people are wondering what this rash is. Yeah, sure. So.
Yeah, the rash.
No, it's just it's a dry skin thing that I'm trying to take care of finally.
Yeah, your rash.
In the hot weather, it gets a little harder to, because
nipples?
it's not dry. Well, no, the nipples get harder in the cold weather. The rash in the warm weather.
Your tiny nipples can even smother.
They shrink up. No, they're not usually the size of a pinpoint.
They disappear in the wintertime. They're so cold.
I'm in the freak show in Coney Island, the man with no winter nipples.
Oh shit, what was I gonna say? I'm so distracted by your sideshow freak nipples.
You've got the man who nails the nails into his sinus cavity, the sword swallower, the contortionist, and then the man with no winter nipples. Just gone.
Oh, I was gonna say why are it's more sexy, like more sexualization of the breast to have the hard nipples through like a white t-shirt.
Well, what is that? That's
why. I get it, right? I see that and I'm like, whoa, that's sexy. But I'm wondering why.
Maybe because it's not fully on display, but it's not completely leaving it to imagination.
Okay, so you can, it's giving you like a hint of something.
There's still a reveal. So the man seeing it, becoming excited by it. Yeah, or a woman. I agree with that fully. I just, when I talk about these things.
No, I get it. Because I believe you that men have a more biological drive toward the breast.
Well, I wonder how lesbians feel. That'd be a good question, if they're attracted to breasts as much as men are. Because they're attracted to women.
Right. Yeah, like I'm attracted to a woman's body, but not her vagina at all. No, thank you. I'm like a gay man in that respect. Where it's like, no, I don't need to see any of your puss. Not interested.
Well, I would assume there needs to be a physical attraction. There is a physical attraction. And, I have no clue, so I don't feel so comfortable speaking on the matter. But with lesbians, is there a draw in the same way that a man would see breasts and think, yes?
Yeah, I would assume. I guess, hey, any lesbian listeners, we need your help.
Yeah, maybe we should have asked you before we did this. But I didn't even think about that aspect of it before.
No, I didn't either.
I would have tried to get an answer on it. And I'm sure it's all over the map.
Oh, of course. Yeah, people's just personal preferences and taste.
Because even with men, you've got the men who's like, I'm an ass man.
Yeah.
Which that in itself, I don't like the one or the other type of thing. This kind of behavior really drives me insane. Okay, you like one or you're attracted to one more than the other, but it's not something you need to present to the world because it doesn't say anything about you that promotes you in any way that I care about. Right.
Like someone saying they're an ass man all of a sudden deems them a certain type of guy.
Oh, you like breast? That's like you're a white wine drinker, obviously. I'm a little more sophisticated with my tastes.
Yeah.
I like the ass, which is the equivalent of the red wine.
Oh, I like the asshole. And so I'm really into like smoky scotch.
Cognac.
The asshole is the cognac of the body.
That's the way it's treated. It's like, no, let me tell you why I am this type of man, and I will go into a deep philosophical explanation about it. And no, it's not that. There's just some lizard part of your brain that prefers that, and let's leave it at that. That's fine. That exists. I'm not saying that shouldn't exist. There's no reason to unsolicited throw the information out there for people who don't care.
As some sort of like part of your personality.
Yeah, it tells you
taste. You're like, it's like saying like I'm a grape man.
Yeah, if you have 3 things to tell a person,
no thanks, no apples for me. I like grapes. I'm a grape guy.
Exactly. And then you go into this long, look, I don't care. Okay, you don't like apples? Fine.
Oh, you like apples? What are you, from the Midwest?
Don't eat the apple.
I'm from grape country.
And if you're going to tell me why you don't like the apple, it better actually be a very interesting, funny reason behind it.
Right.
But no, if you give someone the opportunity, you have tell me 3 things about yourself that helps me have an idea of who you are. And surely some person would throw that, I'm a breast man.
I like to fight.
And that tells you.
I own a boat, and I like butts.
Okay, I take it back. That tells me everything I need to know about you. I hate you. I hate you. I want nothing to do with you.
I read hardcover books. I have a PhD in philosophy, and I love ass.
And again, though, outside of the ass thing, the person who throws it out there, they only read hardcover books. I was like, I don't really want to know you. I don't like you're pretentious. And there's
subtle.
Look, we just went to both sides of the spectrum there. I don't like either of them. Ultimately. But going back to your question about the white t-shirt that's wet, I think it's just there's still the reveal to come later.
Right.
And I will get to reveal them.
I get to see them. And then you see them and you're like, oh, yeah. See, it's just so dumb at the end of it.
And you immediately dive in and make, as I already referenced, the honk. Has anyone ever grabbed your breast and made a honking noise?
No, but I had a friend who was making out with his sister's friend, and she was older than him, and he felt very excited by it. And she was on top of him, and he took her shirt off and her bra off, and he said, and he was, we were in high school, so what does he know? And he said that her boobs were hanging down, and they were hanging down like udders, and he thought that they looked funny, and so he grabbed them, was pretending to milk one.
Wow, and he told you this.
So annoyed. Yeah, and I remember being like, why did you do that? It's just funny to think now, like he was such a little boy, in a lot of ways, but his body was a man, and so he was driven in that way. And so when that happens with two young people, but then really his brain was really, I guess, still a little boy who wanted to honky some boobs.
Where does that come from? What is the drive to do that? Because
he's still a little kid.
So
Yeah.
I understand that, but he's old enough to the point where he's revealing a woman's breasts hanging down that triggered this thought in his mind that the proper thing to do is to make a cartoon sound effect.
I don't think he ever thought about what was proper.
Okay, well that's the
his instinct.
Yeah,
Was still instead of like the instinct being what an adult man's instinct would be, which was like, let's keep going this direction. Instead it was like, honka honka.
I feel like men would do that. Adult men. That still comes into play.
No.
Look, you're giving men too much credit. They're children. They don't evolve that emotionally.
Yeah, but they don't want to mess it up. They don't want to mess up this moment and not have sex. So they're not going to.
So they're on their best behavior. But again, if we get to the baseline and just allow them to be that bonobo.
Your bonobo brain?
Yeah, the bonobo brain would lead to a honking noise.
Okay. So I want to. So when I was thinking about different cultures and their ideas about boobs, I thought about the Europeans, like I said, but then I also thought about. My first thing is like those tribes in Africa, where they paint their bodies red and they're all beautiful. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think you're making a pretty broad statement there, but yes, I get the idea of what you're talking about.
There's a specific group of people there that put that red clay in their hair, and their skin is all red because they put it on their bodies to help the sun and everything. So they have their boobs out.
Yeah, a lot of the tribes.
Yeah, a lot of tribal cultures have their boobs out.
And
so what are they doing? Do you think that they are more not in the same way bonobos, as in like not able to think with a human brain and understand, when things are appropriate or whatever. But I wonder if their sex is less forward facing, like a face-to-face sex, because they don't have maybe the sexualization of the other's bodies.
Well, I think they probably still have forward-facing sex. The idea with that is that's just natural for humans to have forward-facing sex, and then the draw to the breast grew out of that. Ooh. And it was something that reinforced, because if you're having sex that way, not that it's the draw in the first place to have face-to-face sex. So I'm sure that they still have plenty of face-to-face sex. I am curious as to if, because they're out, women's breasts in that culture just out constantly. I did read something that said, and I don't know the specific culture that it is, but in cultures like that, the shape of the breast they prefer is different. It's one that matches the shape that women in those cultures have. Because they don't wear bras and,
long.
Yeah, and this is, to them, what the ideal boob looks like.
Interesting. So less round, more oblong.
Yeah, there is an attraction to that. So obviously there's a part of this that is learned behavior, but there's a part that it is built in, because I remember being a kid and I have, I'm first grade, so I'm not really old enough to have gotten to the point where, I guess maybe you're around enough where that breasts are off limit. Like, those are boobs, can't see those in a movie. Yeah, if like a movie comes up and some nudity and you're told to close your eyes.
Yeah, your mom puts her hand over your face.
So I guess there is already a point at that age where even if you're not sexually attracted to them yet, it's happening. It's going to happen soon, but it's already been instilled because in first grade I came across this Life magazine that my parents had on a table, and there was a whole article on breast cancer. And I had no clue what breast cancer was. I didn't even know what cancer was at that point. But there were pictures of women with their tops off. And I liked it. And
Right.
I wasn't even sure why. But I looked at it and said, oh, I like that. And then I knew, this is the part where probably, the behavior of our society came into play. I knew that I couldn't be caught looking at that, though. So I would look at it quickly and put it away. And then I got to the point where I get home from school and I go to the bathroom with it and just look at it. I'm pretty young. There's not anything else going on at this point.
See, like if you were in England, then I feel like the same draw to them would be there. But maybe, and also I feel like if you were drawn to it and someone saw you looking longingly at these boobs, I feel like then you would feel a little embarrassed or feel like that was something to do in private. But
you shouldn't. I think if you catch your kid looking at boobs in a Life magazine, it's not like they got a hold of some raunchy penthouse.
yeah.
It's an opportunity. I mean, at that point, you're young enough. I don't think it would be so embarrassing to have a conversation with your kid about it. I don't know what you would say.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't actually say anything, but you don't act like it's a bad thing. Maybe that's. Maybe that's.
Well, you never should shame a kid for something that comes natural to them, but at the same time, I don't know. I mean, if I caught one of my kids really looking down some boobs on a on a breast cancer pamphlet, I guess I would just offer.
This was a Life magazine on them.
I'm sorry, Life magazine.
It was
I guess
reputable.
I would let them know that if they have any questions or ask them what they think, like, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
And see if they're like, nothing. I'm like, okay, never mind.
It is, sure. I think that's maybe the most you can do. But to say, don't look at that.
Right.
It's a strange thing because then the question's why. And then that just reinforces that this is off limits even more so. And then so when you get older and you actually get to the point where you're with a woman, then it's like, ooh, off limits, but not for me now. It's like me being an adult and I can eat ice cream whenever I want. It's still
So I'm gonna.
It's still embedded in being a kid. It's like, I couldn't eat this when I was a kid, but now I can make choices on my own and I will eat ice cream all the time.
So is that what breasts are to you think to American culture?
That possibly to an extent, I think that is a big part of it. This can't be answered, and nobody has a definitive answer for it. There's this idea that chemicals are released when mothers are breastfeeding. That helps promote bonding. I think what is it, like oxytocin?
Tocin?
Yeah, and studies have shown that men can also have that released when their nipples are stimulated.
Okay.
And there's an idea there. It's like, well, this, and it still happens with women when they're stimulated and they're not breastfeeding. So that promotes bonding. And another reason that people think that there's an attraction to breasts is because humans are monogamous, or at least strive for monogamy. And a lot of other animals don't. And so this bonding chemical is part of it.
Right.
But, it's all over the map. No one can say for sure why or where or when
or how big.
Well, yeah, I mean that's something too, though. People prefer different sizes.
Yeah, I don't understand that, like, circus boob.
What is that?
Like just the oversized, like, crazy big boob. People are into that, right?
Are you talking about implants at this point?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know who's in. I guess
those people are female impersonators.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good description.
They're overly sexualized. The only thing about their body now is it's like the people wearing a shirt saying, I'm an ass man. Like, I have boobs and they're huge and this is the only thing you're going to see about me. And then, like, I think I was watching something on Snapchat, that comes up where it's like the look. I don't really know. Anyway, there was this woman with gigantic boobs and she was saying, like, I'm actually really smart. I got a degree and whatever and blah, blah, blah. There's something between my head in here, up here. It's like, but you were projecting something that's so huge. How is anyone gonna? It wouldn't be any different than if I wore a hat with a feather that went up 3 feet. You know, and say, yeah, I'm also, a mother and a daughter, and I have a podcast and I'm on a radio show. But why are you wearing that gigantic? Oh, this feather. Oh, yes, that's my feather. Anyway, you know what I mean? Like you're putting something out there, and if you're trying to also say there's more to me than just this one thing, then don't make that one thing so big and in my face and the only thing that I can see about you.
Yeah, I was thinking when you said this woman describing herself and talking about how she had a degree.
Right.
And there's something going on in my head, even though 254 of my heads would fit into each one of my breasts. Like how many Earths would fit into Jupiter?
Jupiter's red spot. Or whatever.
Yeah, it's something similar to that. But the fact that she feels the need to put that out there in the first place means that there's a judgment that she's aware of, that she must be an idiot for doing this. And
yeah.
That must come from, one, the idea that big boobs are better, and that's what men prefer. Mm-hmm. And at some point, because you don't jump right up to that big, do you?
No, you can't. You have to do all kinds of things. Like you can slowly get bigger and bigger implants, or you get like a bladder under the skin and you pump it full of maybe saline or air or something a certain amount of times until it slowly stretches out your skin, and then you go into surgery and they take out the bladder, and then there's enough room for an implant.
So there's steps involved, and I think
the illegal ones that are like gigantic are like this weird string, this like medical string they put inside the body cavity of the breast cavity or something.
So there's steps.
Insanity.
But
yeah.
So I assume the woman gets bigger boobs, gets more attention or perceived attention. Mm-hmm. Whether or not it's real, it doesn't matter if it's perceived, because she's got more confidence suddenly. That could be a result of it. You're not hiding away as much. And then you say get more attention. Like, all right, well, if I get bigger, then you create this correlation. And if I get bigger, then maybe I'll get even more attention. And I think there's some kind of misrepresentation of one's own body, like when she looks at herself in the mirror. This is assuming a lot. And again, I'm sure everyone who does this isn't driven by this same thing, but there's got to be something like this going on.
If we were looking at animals behaving the same way, we wouldn't say like, well, every animal's different and they all have different. No, it's probably something very similar for every woman who gets giant circus, ridiculous, huge boobs. But I'm sure that there's some kernel that's the same between every single one of them.
That's fair. But, if the person is happy with it, ultimately, as we said in that vanity show we did, who are we to judge it in any way? But and who am I to say that the person really isn't happy if they go to that extreme length?
Yeah, I guess I'm not really talking about whether they're happy or not.
No. I'm not either. I'm just trying to play this out in my head. I do think there's some negative reinforcement to begin with about the way the person looks, and then there's positive reinforcement, but then it gets out of hand and runs wild. It's a compulsion, I think, like anything else. Anything in excess, it can become a compulsive behavior, because I don't know if there's anyone who really sees those giant ones and I'm not saying there's not an attraction, because it's an overblown, exaggerated representation of something that you are attracted to. So there it is. It's like, whoa, this is, again, it's the guy was able to have a bowl of ice cream, but now I can have a gallon, and who's going to stop me?
Right.
There it is, right in front. But I don't know if there's anyone who really looks at that and that's what they prefer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of these people are married.
They're lovable. They can be lovable people. They don't need to be rejected.
No. I don't mean that. But with something like, with someone having their body modified to that extreme, I mean, you can still love the person, but I feel like it would be hard to still be attracted to that.
Possibly. But maybe you are attracted to it. Again, this is territory. Who knows?
Yeah.
Unless we
All
were-
right. Anybody who's listening who has a wife or a girlfriend with huge circus tits, let us know how you deal.
like that presentation of them, the huge circus ones. You know what I'm talking about.
That doesn't make sense to you.
No, it does make sense.
If I say circus tits, what do you think? It's like there's a tent around them.
Well, at first when he brought it up, I didn't know if he just mean because some women grow really big boobs to the extent where they're calling them circus. To me, circus is just here's this exaggerated show of things in life that you don't normally see. So it makes sense when you say circus tits. I don't know if that's the person would want them to be called that. What does it matter?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like, I guess this is insensitive, but I feel like if you're going to have something that big and that crazy done to your body, we're allowed to talk about it and think about it and make fun of it a little bit and not understand it.
Yeah, I think we can definitely do all that.
Ultimately, it doesn't seem healthy. Even if you're happy about it, it doesn't seem like the healthiest thing to do.
I think anything in the world is open to discussion. And there are things that we don't understand. And so you're going to become curious about them. And you're going to assign your own thoughts to them because you don't get it fully. And people don't really talk about it openly. What really is going on. And it's gotten them to that point. So this is what sets this whole thing up. And making fun of things is fine. I think when we make fun of things, if it would make someone feel bad about their existence, then they're not a bad person if they don't deserve it. Because I certainly think that some people should be shamed into oblivion. It's like, get out of here. Don't ever show your face again. I'm going to make sure. But, if it's a decent person, I don't want to make a person feel.
No, and I don't either. I don't either. But you also have to be aware of what you present to the world.
Yeah, so hopefully you would talk openly about it.
Right.
So you could explain to people, and then they could still pass judgment on you in a negative way. And really, there's nothing you can do because people are entitled to their opinions, and if you gave them full information. But that's all. That's my only rule. I'm not buying into this things are off limits, just so you know. I know
that. And I don't want to pass a law that says people can't get circus boobs.
No. Do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want, but also maybe look into why you want circus boobs.
You can do whatever you want, as long as it's not making another person feel like shit or imposing on their life.
Yeah.
Go for it. And I just try to follow that same rule, so I don't want to make other people feel like shit.
This is the thread to every show.
Well, I think it's a good rule for life.
I do too.
There's no need. You can, jokes that just put people down for no reason. That's not what you were doing. And now we're getting off topic here. This isn't the topic at this point. But I just quickly, I think it's somewhat lazy also. It's like, I'm just going to comment on this thing that everyone else is thinking about, and look at this, you're out of the ordinary. No, there's certainly jokes to be made about everything. In circus boobs, there are jokes to be made, and just be a little more thoughtful about it. That's all.
Sure. Have an hour discussion about boobs, and then we can talk.
You have any other questions about boobs? I had a friend when we were kids. He was obsessed with boobs, unhealthily for our age. I feel like this was also around first grade. I know this isn't a stand-in for me and my draw to boobs in the Life magazine. But he was, it's like old enough, but we would go to this pool in the summer and he would grab women's boobs. Like he'd swim up to them and grab them. And I think there was somewhat of a pass that was given to him because he was young, but it's still, even I knew that wasn't something you were supposed to do.
Yeah.
And he used to keep this folded up bra ad in the bus seat. So we had assigned seats on the school bus, and I sat next to him, and every day he'd pull out the ad that he ripped out and unfold it because he shoved it down into the seat and just stare at it and kiss it and lick it. Ugh. It was very strange. But then he wouldn't take his shirt off. So he'd swim with his shirt on. He told me...
Oh, at the pool.
Yeah, at the pool. He told me he showered with his shirt on because he didn't want people to see his boobs. So I don't know what the hell was going on.
He had all kinds of hang-ups about his chest.
I don't know. I had no clue what's going on there, and I don't know where he is at this point. I've tried to look him up because he's the kind of person who carried around dead fish in his back pocket. He had a little aquarium, and the fish died, and he put them in a Ziploc bag and carried them around for a day. So...
Wow, he's a bonobo.
Who knows
He has no brain.
how many murders had happened at his hands? Yeah. So that's I wish I could find that guy, but he's hiding, probably as he should be.
Yeah. Maybe he's a bra designer now.
Well, that would be a good thing. So
yeah, use your powers for good.
he took a healthy approach. He channeled his obsession.
Yeah.
And
I'm obsessed with making your boobs comfortable, ladies.
yeah, except he says he only designs with real models, not mannequins. So he makes women come in and take their, and he still showers with his shirt on.
That's weird. Well, he was little.
I don't even know if that part was true. He told me that. But then I wondered.
And don't you think he was licking that paper just because he was being looked at? Like, he wasn't just licking the paper and being like, oh, you caught me licking the paper. It was like,
I think
yeah, I'm looking at this and watch this.
no, I think there was an attraction to it. It didn't seem to be a show.
All
It
right.
just seemed to be he completely unaware of what was going on
Yeah, wow.
and people around him. He also, well, so we played video games and we were playing Nintendo in his basement, and his little brother came down once and wanted to play, and he said, yeah, you can play if you pull down your pants and sit there and play with no pants on. And I said it didn't end up happening, and I don't even know what I said. I was very uncomfortable. If this happens. It didn't happen.
Good.
But it was a strange, I don't know.
Oh, something maybe is going on with this kid.
There's certainly something going on there.
Yeah. Well,
And it
we're
all,
going to end it on a super weird note.
is that how we're ending it on that story? You got nothing else to take us out? I don't want to end on that very strange story that this boy's unhealthy obsession with breasts, and the way he was just violating women's personal space that should have been giant red flags, into the fact he was going to be an incapable and not so great human being. I don't want to end on that.
All right.
You have anything? Nothing else?
When you were younger, and you were really into the breast cancer pamphlet that you found on the ground.
It was a Life magazine.
Oh, sorry.
A pamphlet. Unbelievable. This was a reputable publication.
When did you ever, did you see your mom naked? I know this is weird, but did you ever see your mom naked when you were little enough, when it wasn't a big deal?
Yeah. I think there were plenty of times. And I remember the time it felt like it was no longer okay.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, there was just one time I don't really want to be around this anymore.
Okay.
When I got old enough. But anyway, yes.
Because right now my kids are very interested in my boobs. And if I don't have a bra on or something and my boobs are out, Ellie will come up and she'll push them with her hand, and she'll want to play with them, but not in a sexy way. Obviously.
A curious way?
You're curious. She lifts them up and she jiggles them.
But that, to her, she knows that's her future.
She looks at her own boob, or her own little chest, and she talks about her boobs, and Pete calls them his boobs.
Well, being a girl, I think Ellie knows that in the future this is going to happen to her, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
So there's a curiosity there, I would assume, from that sense. Also,
Right.
just it's a difference in your body, something they don't have on their body. So yeah. Wow, look at this. Look what's going on.
Yeah. I used to do it to my mom. I never played with my mom's, but I know that I would, when she would be naked, I would try and run up to her and push them up, boing it like a bullseye, try and hit my palms on her nipples and push them up.
A
I remember
game.
doing that.
And a little game going on with them.
Yeah.
All right, that's a better one to end
Okay,
on,
there
I
you
think.
go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
playing
Oh.
a game with your mom's boobs. Better than this creep. They're his friends.
Don't bring it back.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to One Topic. Please check out our official sponsor of One Topic, hoffandpepper.com. If you use the code OneTopic15, you get 15% off of your Hoff sauce order. It's really great hot sauce. They have lots of different options that you can choose from. I think they have some sales going on right now. Also, you can find us everywhere on iTunes and Spotify, and recently Google Play. I added Google Play to the list because a friend of mine says that that's how he listens, and he couldn't find it. He couldn't find One Topic on Google Play, so I figured it out. So I put it up there. So please go and listen and subscribe, and also rate and review us on iTunes because that helps, and we really like to look at them, at the reviews, and see how many ratings we have. It's real exciting for us. And you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram if you just search for us for One Topic. So do it.